First, let's start by labeling this page. Let's see, it is Wednesday, November 6th, and it is day 7. So I'm going to write day 7. All right, Wednesday, November 6th. And this is going to kind of be like our do now, but at the same time, it's more of a demonstration than a do now. So we've got a worksheet here, and on this worksheet, basically, I put 2 problems on each page to give us lots of space to draw pictures and show our work. And every question is describing a relationship of angles where we're going to be solving for x, just like we did yesterday, but this time we draw the picture. So I want to first go through, I'm actually going to get some highlighters. And you are welcome to do the same thing as me with the highlighters at your table, or you can just watch me. I want to get organized first before we start. Yes. So let's see. I'm going to get all these colors and decide what kind of problem gets what color. We'll see what happens as we go. Yeah. Yes. And do you have all those colors? If not, we could totally grab some from the other cups. Perfect. All right. So I am going to be kind of silly, and I'm going to put them in rainbow order. There we go. I'm doing the same thing. Yes. Right. So now let's use these colors, and I want to just kind of label each different kinds of problems we'll see on this worksheet. So to start, for number 1, we're going to be talking about angles around a point, or angles that are going to add up to 360 degrees. And I'm going to start with my pink highlighter, and I'm just going to highlight that around a point, 360 degrees. And now I'm just going to go to every other page and find any other problems like that. So 3 and 4 are not the same. 5 is, so I'm going to highlight that. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, no 6, no 7, no 8. Oh, number 9. Here we go. Keep going.
I noticed something. They all line up.
They all line up?
It's because number 13 is like that.
Must be a pattern. Number 13. Yep, so that would mean 17 will be our other one. Oh. And that is all. You are correct. Okay. So let's start. Oh no, I hate when that happens. Okay, now let's do orange and label all the problems that are like number 2, the supplementary angles, or the ones that add up to 180 degrees. So if it follows the same pattern, it should just be flip the page. Nope, it doesn't follow. Okay, we got something different. All right, well, let's find other supplementary. Number 7. Okay. Oh, we have 2 different kinds of 180-degree angles here, actually, because some of them are labeled supplementary and some of them are labeled straight angle. You see that? They both add up to 180. So like if we go back to number 4, we would want to highlight that one too in orange, since it also adds up to 180. Okay.
So you want to Maybe just highlight orange.
Yes. If it's 180 degrees, we're going to highlight it orange. So there's 7. Number 10. Number 12. What'd you say?
When I was 7
Oh, I hate that.
Non-stop at school.
So that is no fun. I think it's the weather getting colder. It makes it tough on like allergies. Okay, 15 and 16 are 180. And 20. I think that's it. Yes. Okay. All right. Now, the next color would be yellow. But I don't know. I kind of think I want to skip yellow because it's so similar to orange. I don't know. You good with that? You want to go right to green?
That would be something else.
Yeah. Okay, so
Then we have to highlight the
yes, complementary angles.
to 90.
90. Perfect. So number 3. Number 8. You are right. Number 14. Yep, number 18. And I think that's it. Perfect. Just one more? Okay, what color do you want to use for the last one? Purple, yellow, or blue? Purple. All right, let's do it. Okay, so vertical angles is last. Perfect. So number 6. 11. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, that should be everything. I think we got it all. All right, so let's just run through one of each type of these problems here. So we'll start with the pink ones. So for number 1, and before I get started, I'm actually gonna make sure I have a compass and a ruler, or not a compass, my bad, a protractor and a ruler. So both of these. Oh yes. And my ruler matches my clipboard. Okay. All right.
Pages aligned so that it doesn't go.
Yes. All right. So number 1, we've got angles that are around a point, 360 degrees. So angle A is x plus 55. Angle B is 310. How could I start drawing this picture?
We should start with just a line, but
Yeah.
because it's gonna do full circles to do it.
Sounds good.
360.
You want to start with like the middle of our point where the angles are starting, like here? All right, cool. Let's do that. And are you just making your line kind of straight across? like that. So we'll start with array. Okay. So I know angle B is 310 degrees. So maybe we should start with that one. Let's see. So I know 180 would be going straight this way. How much further would I need to go to get to 310?
So if you're looking at that, if you go basically saying this one here's the 180,
Uh-huh.
then you kind of add.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly what you're doing actually. So let's see. I've got, this is where 180 would go. 190, 200, 210, 220, 230, 240, 250, 260, 270, 280, 290, 300, 310. Okay, about right here. Is that what you got?
Yeah, about
Around the 130 mark or the 50 mark? Okay, cool. So I'm gonna make a little mark there, and I'm gonna connect my array to that point. Perfect. Okay, so now I just need to label my angles. How could I do that?
circle.
Yeah, let's label angle B. We've got something like this. I'm gonna say B equals 310 degrees. And then I'm going to put 2 arcs in the smaller angle just so I know that these angles are pretty obviously not the same. So then we'll call this one A. And that one equals x plus 55 degrees. Okay. Wait, we got a picture. Okay, so now that we have a picture, how could we set up an equation and solve for x?
Plus 310 equals 360.
Yeah, that's perfect. So I know, and I'm going to write this out because I know you get it, but maybe someone watching this video might be a little confused. I want to put, I know that A and B, when I add them together, I'll get 360. And I know you did that step on your head. You already knew that. So we're going to just rewrite A as x plus 55 plus B, which is plus 310 equals 360. Okay. Is that kind of what you got?
Yeah, I'm doing color coded.
Perfect. No, that's smart. The more color coded, I feel like that just makes it so much easier to follow along with it.
I'm copying.
Yes.
I have one similar to my own
Right.
stuff. They have like a little unicorn thing.
Oh, that's so
I
cute.
carry
I
around.
love it. Okay. Do we have any like terms that we can combine? Yes, ma'am. What's 55 plus 310?
360.
360 what?
X plus 2.
Oh, yeah, 365. Perfect. So 365, and I'll bring down my x plus 365 equals 360. Okay, so I've gotten this far. What should I do next? Perfect. Subtract 365 from both sides. And my 365s will cancel. So what's that going to give me as my answer? -5. Perfect. So we circle our answer. Awesome. 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 Okay. So we got one of the problems with around a point. So we feel good about those. I think you definitely seemed like you knew what you were doing. I think we're good just going through one. How about number 2? How would we set this one up? I know I've got supplementary angles. Yes. Perfect. We want to make a straight across line with arrows on both sides because we want our two angles to add up to 180, which is going to give us that straight angle. So here we go. And I'm going to put my vertex just somewhere in the middle-ish area, like that. I'm going to move this camera down too. Okay. So I've got my line, and I know angle A is 2x plus 30, and angle B is 130 degrees. Which one do you think I should start with?
Angle B.
Yeah, probably angle B, because at least we know that measure. We don't know the other one yet. So let's line up our protractor. And with these, I'm not asking you to be as precise, just a kind of rough estimate of the picture of this. So I need 130 degrees. That's okay. There we go. Perfect. And you could put your angle or that kind of ray in the middle on either side, but I'm going to put mine pointing towards the left so my smaller angle comes first. And we could do it either way. It just depends on how we label it as which one's A and which one's B. I'll let you get your drawing done first, and then we'll talk about the rest of it. Go ahead and put some arcs in here. All right, which one should we make A? Yes. Perfect. So angle A equals 2x plus 30. And so B has to be the other one. 130 degrees. Okay. So without using our values for A and B, let's just use A and B. What can I say about A and B? How could I write an equation? Just like in the first one, I said A plus B is 360. What would I do here? Perfect. A plus B equals 180 degrees. Okay. And now let's put our values in for that. So what will my official equation look like?
2x plus 30
Mm-hmm.
plus 130.
Perfect. Equals 180. Awesome. Okay. Do I have any like terms?
30 and the wrong.
Yes, ma'am. What happens when I add those together? Yes, perfect. 2x plus 160 equals 180. Okay. And what do I do next? Yes. Minus 160. 160's cancel. I'll bring down that 2x equals. And once you get to the part where you subtract 160, let me know what number you get there. 20. Perfect. Okay. What's my last step? Yes, ma'am. Divide by 2. And what's our answer? 10. 10. Perfect. You rock, Ella. You got this. X is 10. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. Let's see what other kinds we've got. We already did a pink one. We already did an orange one. And now we got a green one. Let's do that.
Well, I got 2 more.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So now I have complementary angles. And those are going to add up to 90 degrees. So how should I start drawing this picture? Yeah. I want to draw a perfect 90-degree angle. And we want to label it with that little box inside of it. So I'm going to give myself. See, it's always smart to do pencil first. Sometimes I'm kicking myself because I write it in pen and then it's not correct. Can't erase it. Okay, so I'm going to line this up. And angle should go up about here. Make it about 90 degrees. Now these protractors are not super accurate. But, they work. They'll be all right. Okay. Oh, I got this. You're okay, Ella. Take your time. Okay. So, I feel like this is one where until we solve it, we might not be able to give the most accurate picture yet because we don't have an angle value just yet. We have x's in both A and B. So we have a couple options here. We could either just guess on the picture and it might not be accurate, or we could solve the equation first and then see what the angle A or B actually measures as.
Solve the equation first.
Yeah, let's solve it first. Let's get an accurate picture. So how would I set this equation up?
It'd be A plus B equals 90.
Perfect. A plus B equals 90. So if I just put my A and B values in there, let's see, we'll get x plus 20 plus 3x minus 10 equals 90. Okay. Mine out. You tell me if you get the same equation. You get the same thing as me? Sweet.
Now I have to rearrange.
Yes, we do have to rearrange or combine our like terms. So you want to start with the x's maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. I've got an x. I got a 3x. What's that going to give me when I add them together?
That's gonna do 4.
Perfect. 4x. And I'm going to use a different color for my other terms. Let's do, I don't know, I'm going to do green. So now I've got 20 and
So that equals
minus
10.
10. Yes, good. Yeah, so we've got a minus 10, so we do 20 minus 10. And is that going to give me a positive 10 or a negative 10? Positive 10. Perfect. All right, so now I got 4x plus 10. And we still have an equals 90. We'll just bring that down. Perfect. We got it. All right, so how are we going to solve for x here?
First we subtract the 10.
Yes, subtract 10 from both sides. That equals, should give me 80. Yes, then we're going to divide 4 on both sides. And tell me when you get an answer for x.
I think it's 20.
Yeah, I think it's also 20.
4 by 4 is 2. And
Huh.
0.
Perfect. X equals 20. All right. So we know our x. Now we just need to use that x to figure out one of our angles before we draw our picture. So which one do you want to figure out, A or B?
Because if we did B, it'd have to be another
Yeah,
to it.
I agree. A is going to be easier to find. So A is 20 plus 20. Or what would that give me? 40 degrees. Perfect. Okay, so now we can draw a picture. Use my protractor, see if I can find 40 degrees on here. Okay. 20, 30, 40. Perfect, perfect. Almost in the middle, but not quite. That's okay. All right. And we're going to label our angles. So A I'm gonna write x plus 20 degrees or 40 degrees. So I'd be fine with either one. And then go ahead. What were you going to say?
It would just be 3x.
Perfect. Let's do that. 3x minus 10. Awesome. There we go. All right. So we did around a point We did supplementary. Okay, yeah, that's right. The only one we haven't done is purple. So here we go. We'll find a purple one. Okay, so we got some vertical angles. So they're going to be across from each other. And again, I don't have a value for either of my angles. So what do you want to do first here? Yeah, totally could be. Totally could be. Now, the only thing is we might not get an accurate picture if we don't know what angle A measures and what angle B measures yet. But we could start with just drawing a line, and we know we'll have to put another line through it. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make mine a little tilted for fun.
And I'm just gonna do straight.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Be somewhat similar because it's gonna be two.
Yeah. And you totally could just go ahead and draw your lines crossing each other. But I think I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till we get our answer and just see what it's gonna look like. Okay. So with all the other problems we've done so far, we were adding A and B together and setting it equal to something. But for vertical angles, we're doing something different.
A equals B.
Yes, A equals B. Vertical angles are congruent. They have the same measure. So I know I'm going to do A equals B. So let's write an equation for that. What's that equation going to look like?
X plus 40 equals 2x minus 10.
Perfect. X plus 40 equals 2x minus 10. All right. So what do you want to do with this equation first?
First, I probably move those plain X.
Yeah, let's get all our x's on the same side. Exactly. So how am I going to move this x over? What do I need to do? Yes, minus x.
You could have moved either one way. You move the 1x.
Right. Exactly, yeah, because if we moved 2x over to the right side, we would have to divide by a negative at the end, because then we're going to have a negative x. So I think this was definitely the smarter choice. Okay, so my x's on the right side are gone. Now I've got 40 equals, what's 2x minus x? Yes, ma'am, it's x minus 10. Okay, almost there. What's my last step here? Yes, add 10. So I'll get x equals 50. Oh my gosh. I'm doing it in my head right now, and I'm looking at angle A. It's x plus 40. 40 plus 50 is 90. So you're drawing, if you made it that like perfect perpendicular straight up and down, it was a perfect drawing anyway. It was gonna match. So I guess we could have just drawn it first. You totally got lucky there. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna write out what I just did in my brain.
A equals.
Yes.
So it really is just straight.
Exactly. So I know angle A is x plus 40. So A is also 50 plus 40. And A is 90. So I just need to have a 90-degree angle here. And I know your picture's already done, so give me 1 second. I'll make mine look good. Here. And my drawing is definitely not going to be perfect, but it'll be close enough. Yeah. Okay. There we go. That's okay.
Down. Makes plus sign.
Yes. And then I'm going to put a little box in there. And how do we label that two angles are the same? Do you remember how we did that? Yeah, the arcs. So like on all the other problems, we did one angle had one arc, another had two arcs. This time, we want our angles to have the same number of arcs. So you could either just do one or you could do two on each. Either one would be fine. And I'll just call this A x plus 40 degrees or 90. And B is 2x minus 10. Or it's also 90. Perfect. And just for fun, I'm going to put a little box in my B also. All right. Wonderful. So that's okay. All right, so we have now done one of every type of example we'll see in this worksheet packet. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to pause this recording and I'm going to close my worksheet and I'm going to set a timer for you to work on some more of these in this packet and just see how many you can get done. There's not a certain number you need to do specifically. And then if you feel like you're getting stuck on one, I'm here. Feel free to ask me, but I feel like you got this. So let me pause this and we'll do some work time. Okay, so I'm starting the recording again. We are shifting gears to the midpoint worksheet. And I'm going to do the same thing I did with the other. So I remember when we did this. I'm going to write day 7, Wednesday, November 6th. And again, you don't have to do that, but I have to because I will lose it if I don't. I lose my papers so badly. I gotta label them. Day 7, Wednesday, November 6th. Perfect. Okay, so let's look at number 1. Here we have a graph. And I'll tell you what, I spent, you don't even want to know how long. Last night, I was trying to format these pictures of the graphs so that the numbers right here that are supposed to label the X and the Y axis, I wanted them to be right up against the lines, but for some reason I couldn't get them to move there. So for this worksheet, they're just going to be on the outside. And we'll just need to remember that that middle part is our starting point when we count. Okay, so let's see what we got going on here. So I have a little line segment and it tells me that my first point is -9 for my X. So I go over to -9. And then my Y is 6, so that's why it's up 6. And same thing for my -6 and 7. So something that helps me, I like to label my X and Y axis. I always make my X red. So I'm going to do that. I always make my y blue. I'll do that as well. And that just helps me keep track of where I'm counting. So now let's go ahead and label our coordinates that they gave us. We've got -9, 6 and -6, 7. Do you remember which of the numbers in a coordinate, which one's the x value, the first number or the second number? First number, perfect. So I'm going to put little x's above my x values. And I'm going to put little y's above my y values. I know it. Oh. So before I solve this, I'm actually going to write the midpoint formula at the top of my worksheet just so I can refer to it for all of my problems. Because when we're trying to find the midpoint, if it was a line like in number 2, where I could just count and see where the middle point is, I could just count and see where the middle point is. I won't need a formula. But with this one, it's going to be a little tougher to get a more exact point without using that formula. Right, right. So our midpoint formula, I'm going to label this at the top of the page. Midpoint formula. And when we're finding midpoint, our answer is always going to be a coordinate. So I'm going to make a big O set of parentheses like this. And then I know I'm going to be dividing things by 2. So I'm also going to make little fractions in here. So divide by 2, divide by 2. And then at the top of the first fraction, I'm going to put x1 plus x2. And what do you think I should put on the top of my second fraction? Perfect. y1 plus y2. I know, those pens are tricky. There's so many of the ink things that are trying to bump into each other.
That's how it pops in. You have to take it.
Mm-hmm.
But well, your main teacher when it started to pop.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so let's use this midpoint formula to solve number 1. So I have my x's and my y's labeled. Let's just plug them into that formula. I'm going to start with, I'm going to actually write my work under the problem, I think. Yeah, give me a little more room. I'm going to make my big parentheses and my comma and my divide by 2 for both. And then what are the 2 x values I'll be adding together? Perfect. Absolutely. So you totally could just write -9 minus 6. Absolutely. That's a perfect way to do it. I'm going to put the plus in here just in case that confuses anyone watching the video. But you're right. When we add a negative number, it's the same thing as subtracting. So you could just put -9 minus 6. And then what are we going to put for our y's? Perfect. 6 plus 7. Okay. So now we just need to solve it. We got all of our numbers are plugged in. So that's good. Let's do that. Okay, so what is -9 minus 6? Or -9 plus -6?
15.
Yes,
6 is 15.
exactly. -15. And it's still over 2. That's okay. Yeah, if you got, did you make your, was your minus like touching your 1 and it curved up a little here? That would make it look like a 45.
When I went to draw my one, my hand shook.
I get you.
Like a teeny.
I gotcha. Okay. Well, that's all right. Thank goodness for whiteout. Now, what is 6 plus 7?
7 is 14.
Mhm.
Make it 13.
Perfect. It is 13. Okay. So, we're going to get decimals in our answer, and that is okay. It just means whenever we go to plot it, we're going to be going kind of in between points. So, let's simplify these. Or not simplify, let's divide them to make those decimals for our coordinate. And I think what I'm going to do, since I'm almost running into problem number 2, I'm going to draw an arrow and put my midpoint answer right here. And you don't have to put it right where I'm putting it, but I think that's what I'm going to do. So what is -15 divided by 2? No, it's probably calculator time.
-7.5.
Perfect. -7.5. And then what's 13 divided by 2? 6.5. Perfect. And that's your answer. So we're going to circle it. But we're not done yet. We got our midpoint. Now I want you to put the midpoint on your graph. So these are really little. We're going to zoom in. So I need to find -7.5, 6.5 on the graph. So I'm going to start from 0 in the middle. And am I going to go to the left or the right for my x value?
I know we're gonna go towards you.
Yes. So here, this is what's happening. -7.5 is our x. So if I'm starting at 0, I want to go towards the negative numbers to the left towards 7.5. So this is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. It's going to be a little bit past -7, not quite to -8. So about here-ish.
Okay.
And then our y is 6.5. Somebody waving at me. And so are we going to go up or down for our y? Up, because it's a positive number. So we'll go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. And if we did it right, we should land right in the middle of our line segment. Just like that. Awesome. All right. Does that make sense? You got that one? Awesome. Okay, so here's what we're gonna have for today. I think you have mastered the angles. You've got that. Now, we talked about midpoint for like 5 minutes yesterday, and now we've done a problem together today. So for our day 7 exit ticket, I'll label this. I want you just to find the midpoint for number 2. So day 7 exit ticket. And that is going to be all for our class today. I'm going to end that recording.